Opportunity to open up the phones. We're going to try and deal with this question, but it's not going to take the elder a lot of time to deal with this because it's somewhat, like I say, of a softball question. We'd like to open up the lines tonight straight off the top. The phone number is 404-873-1349. That's 404-873-1349. And let me read this to you, Elder. The Middle East has been in constant turmoil for decades. Many who are following world news wonder what will happen next and what the final outcome will be. Yet very few realize that Bible prophecy explains in advance the earth-shaking events that will lead to greater disasters in the region and ultimately World War III. The Bible also outlines in full detail the end-time events leading up to the return of the Anointed One, Yahshua HaMashiach, a Hebrew Israelite king of the Jews, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root and offspring of David. He had prevailed to open the book and to loose the seals thereof. What happens next in the Middle East as his return draws near will affect your life and the lives of everyone on earth. Understanding those events will help us take action for you and your family, welfare, and ultimately their salvation. So what we'd like to do tonight, Elder, is just throw this question to you. Mideast peace, will it occur, and if so, when?
Well, you really can't have, how can the nation expect to have peace and Yahweh's holy people are over here in America, the daughter of Babylon, being destroyed? It don't make sense. And if you check world history, ever since we, as a nation of people, have been out of our land, the nations have been at war with each other. But it's a reason for that. It has to do basically with cultures and so forth. Now, when we look at what's going on in the Middle East today, we see it's not just two people fighting just to be fighting. It's two major religions. One's on a crusade and the other one's on a jihad. One thing about it, with all the terrorism and everything going on the earth, these Christians are going to have to do something about it.
That's
because they're letting it go long enough to where the nation, well, especially here in America, what people are doing is giving up more and more of their freedoms. And if you notice that the terror level is still on yellow, right? This to let people know, say, well, look, you know, it can happen. So people are willingly giving up their freedoms as America is becoming a socialistic republic. See, they got rid of socialism in Russia, and now America is bringing it about. And all you got to do, brother, is read the Patriot Act, and the Patriot Act shreds that Constitution to pieces. The world, all the rulers of the world know that when one man rule the whole earth, people have more peace and more prosperity. And that's what has got to take place in a cause, according to the prophets. That's really what's going to take place. But what you have to do is you have to read about these this last war here. In the book of Daniel, Daniel talked about some things that's going to take place once this New World Order is set up in place. It starts at Daniel chapter 11 and verse 27. I better pick this up at verse 25. Now, when you know who the nations are, then when you read prophecy, you can put everybody in place and know exactly what each nation is going to do. Because Yahweh said, I don't do anything till I tell my servants, the prophets, first.
Right.
Here in the book of Daniel chapter 11, in verse 25, it talks about the Pope. I'm going to pick this up at verse 24. Rather, it says, and he shall enter peaceably even upon the fattest places of the provinces. And he shall do that which neither his father have done, nor his father's fathers. He shall scatter among them the prey, the spoils, and the riches. Yea, and he shall forecast his devices against them, against the strongholds rather, even for a time, for 1 year, right? And he shall stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south. with a great army, and the king of the south shall be stirred up to battle with a very great and mighty army. But he shall not stand, for they shall forecast devices at him. Yea, they that feed of the portion of his meat shall destroy him, and his army shall overflow, and many shall fall down slain. And both these kings' hearts shall be to do mischief, and they shall speak lies at one table, but it shall not prosper, but yet the end shall be at the time appointed. Then shall he return to his own land with great riches. He's going to return to his own land with the wealth of that Middle East.
Okay.
Okay. Then shall he return to his land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the holy covenant. And he shall do exploits and return to his own land. And at the time appointed, he shall return and come toward the south. But it shall not be as the former or as the latter. For the ships of Kittim shall come against him. Therefore he shall be grieved and return and have indignation against the holy covenant. So shall he do. He shall even return and have intelligence with him that forsake the holy covenant. Right? And verse 36 says, and that the king shall do according to his will. And he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the gods of God, and shall prosper until the indignation be accomplished. But that is determined shall be done. So once the king of, once the Europeans, the Christians, go into that Middle East, they're going to take over that Middle East. They're going to have to, because the Euro-Gentiles was given 2,520 years to rule the earth, and they must be in rulership when the Messiah comes. As a matter of fact, when you get in the prophets Zechariah and Jeremiah, it tells you about this last war that's going to take place once the Messiah returns. And what's going to happen is this: once they destroy the people in the Middle East, the Muslims in the Middle East, then they're going to say peace. But once they say peace, the scripture said sudden destruction is going to come upon them like a woman in travail, and they shall not be able to put it off. Now we talk about the wrath of Yahweh with the trumpets and the vials, which Brother Urique was talking about early on. What you just have to see, you just have to read the prophecies and see in the prophecies that the covenants and the vows in Revelation is Yahweh's pouring his wrath upon the earth, right? But all of this is not going to come until after America's destruction.
Yes, sir.
America has to be destroyed first, because they're putting together a new world order. Yahweh is putting together, allowing Lucifer to put together his last empire, and they call it the EU. And we see this thing coming together. So the power seat is going to be in Europe. That means America has to go, simply because she's not going to give up her power. And when you check back during history, when you know who you are and who the nations are, when you check back in history and find out which nation it was that had the tribes of Benjamin, Judah, and Levi, the same three tribes over here, that had them in captivity, those nations were totally destroyed. Once we came out of there, never became a power again. Look at old ancient Babylon. And Iraq hasn't been a power, not a major player. Iraq hasn't been a power since. When we look at the Medo-Persian Empire that came in upon us, look, Iran is Persia. They haven't been a power since, right? When the Greeks came in upon us with Alexander the Great, right? They haven't been a power since. Well, what make these people here think that they are going to escape Yahweh's wrath for all the things that they've done to us? You know, here lately they've been showing movies. They had Mississippi Burning on last night. And I think tonight they're going to do Rosewood. Do you know what all of that is for? All of that is to see how incensed we are as far as the way that we've been treated. What can they stir? Can they stir up? Is there any anger left in us to stir? You're damn right. It's anger, you see. And I don't blame the people today that has us in captivity, because they're just like we were. We weren't the one that sinned, our fathers were. And Yahweh kicked us out of the land. Had all the nations rule over us, right? Well, what make America think she's going to be pardoned for the things that she has done to the children of Israel. And brother, let me tell you something. That Middle East over there, that Middle East is a hornet's nest. And it's the wrong place for folks to be at this time.
Right.
The people over here say those Arabs are fanatics. And brother, anytime you can talk somebody into strapping a bomb around themselves, blowing themselves up, something ain't too right with that,
Yes,
brother.
sir.
But anyways, these people in the Middle East, brother, because of their tenacity, I should say, and because of their wealth, America and Europe has to get that under control. And the only way they're going to get it under control is to go into the Middle East. How can we have a one-world governmental system and the Arabs still over there blowing up folks? It don't make sense. They're going to have to be destroyed because the mouth of Yahweh is spoken.
Okay. So saying that, you also know that the scripture also says that every man is going to return to his own land. And just where are we going to go? We being the so-called Negroes / African Americans and think that we're from Africa. But, we're not from Africa. So where would this so-called Negro go? What hope does he have?
Well, Yahweh in Zechariah said at the destruction of America that the children of Israel and the children of Judah is going to come going and weeping as they go, saying, show us the way to Zion, bringing their gold and their silver with them, right? Well, let me read something to you and we can see what's going to take place here with our people. I'm going into the prophet Ezekiel. Okay. And I'm going to read something out of it. That's what I like about my Creator. He don't do anything until he tells his servants, the prophets first. When you go to church, all you hear is a bunch of junk.
That's right.
But Yahweh tell man what's going on over the earth. And these are the things that we have to look for. I'm going to go into Ezekiel chapter 33.
Okay.
And I'm going to pick this up at Ezekiel 33. And let me get there and I'll find out. Ezekiel 33. And I'm going to pick this up at... All
right, I'm just going to let the caller, we know we're coming to you, but go ahead and read that out.
This is Ezekiel 33, and I'm going to pick this up at verse 12. It says, right. Therefore, thou son of man, say unto the children of your people, the righteousness of the righteous shall not deliver him in the day of his transgression. As for the wickedness of the wicked, rather, he shall not fall thereby in the day that he turned from his wickedness, neither shall the righteous be able to live for his righteousness in the day that he sins, right? Well, let's go and see. Now, it's talking about the righteousness and the righteousness of the righteous and the wicked of the wicked. But when you listen to what people are saying today, everybody's righteous. Everybody's going off to heaven, right? Well, listen to this. This is in Ezekiel 20 and verse 33. It says, As I live, saith the Adonai Elohim, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you.
That's right.
And I will bring you out from the people and gather you out of the countries wherein you were scattered with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face. Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so shall I plead with you, said the Adonai Elohim. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you under the bond of the covenant. And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I'm going to bring them forth out of the country wherein they sojourn, but they shall not enter the land of Israel. In this last purging, 2/3 of our people are going to die. And when you look up on the earth today, brother, what people call God, it's what's been taught to them by our captors. They don't know nothing about God. All the religious denominations we practice today, we either got from the Euro-Gentiles or from the Arabs. We have become participants, but we never start anything of our own.
That's right.
But the thing of it is this. when you read the scripture gave us something of our own. But by us not knowing who we are,
That's right.
and allowing these pimps that we got in
Right.
the pulpit on the first day of the week calling it their Sabbath day. We know Saturday is a Sabbath day.
That's right.
But they changed it. And nobody gave them the authority to change it.
That's right.
Our people, we're just following.
Yes, sir.
So when you go to church on Sunday, what you hear, good music, you hear the same thing you hear in the nightclub.
Almost.
That's right. It's all about money. Yahweh, the Messiah said, watch. When you begin to see these things come up on the earth, look up, because your redemption is near, right at the door, brother, and nobody's watching.
All right, I think we got a phone call. We'd like to go ahead and take this phone call. Go ahead, caller, you're on the air. State your question or comment. All right, I think we're coming up.
Hello?
Yes, sir, we got you. Go ahead. All right, hold on there a minute.
Can you hear me?
Okay, we got you.
Yes, the elder was speaking of, he said the United States want to be destroyed.
Yeah.
And, what I wanted to ask, going back to when Abraham had the dream about the nations being judged, I was thinking that was the nation that would be judged, the United States, the America, more or less. The nation that the tribes were in will be judged by...
In Genesis 15:13.
Right.
Yeah. That's talking about America. When he told
Right, well, they're supposed to receive a judgment, so...
The
it's
judge-
after,
the judgment is destruction.
well, I thought the judgment was more or less the God,
No, don't think, brother. Read.
read
Read the scripture.
Judgment is destruction.
Okay, judgment, there's many different types of judgment, and the judgment is according to what the prophets say, not what we think. The judgment is that Russia is going to destroy America in 1 hour, in 1 day.
Now, you see Russia, did it say Russia's going to destroy that?
Yes, sir, it says the Medes, and the Medes are the people of Russia.
Okay, well, I didn't see that, but...
It's in Jeremiah 50, brother.
Okay, and
Read,
it says Russia's going to destroy America.
right, read Jeremiah 50.
Yeah, I read it, but I didn't see
Jeremiah
that.
51
Uh-huh.
and Isaiah 47. He said, I'm going to stir up the Medes against them.
Well, I would think, we said, okay, seemingly more or less it's going to be reserved for judgment, whereas, it's more or less, that's going to be the ultimate destruction is from the, okay, I'm gonna read a little bit more and get back with you, but seemingly I don't see that destruction part, no physical destruction. It seemed to be more like a judgment from God there, not just a physical destruction from people. Russia seemed to be under the same umbrella as America.
Listen. This is in Jeremiah 51.
Okay.
And I'm going to pick this at up at verse 40. It says, Jeremiah 50 and verse 40. It says, as Elohim overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities thereof, saith Yahweh, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. Behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth, and they shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel, and will not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, every man put in array like a man at the battle against you, O daughter of Babylon.
Yes, sir.
Well, we know that in Revelation 13, we know that the Roman Catholic Church is called Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. The protesters separated from them and came over here and murdered off the Indians. And see, people talk, but they don't see what America has done. She came over here and destroyed the indigenous people in this earth. And look how they did it, man, with blankets, with smallpox and all kind of diseases in them and so forth, right? And then went and got them some slaves and recorded the worst slavery in the pages of history. And Yahweh already told them, say, whosoever touch you, touch the apple of my eye. He said, I gave my people into your hand, and upon the very ancient you have very heavily laid the yoke. And I'm going to recompense it to you. Now let me read something else to you. Now this got to do with America being over there in the Middle East trying to protect them false Jews that them in Great Britain put in place in 1948, right?
The imposters.
Right. This is verse 44. It says, "Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of the Jordan into the habitation of the strong. But I will make them suddenly run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I might appoint over her? For who is like me? And who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me?" Now listen to this. This is in verse 7, chapter 51 and verse 7.
Okay.
"Babylon has been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunk.
That's
The
right.
nations have drunk of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. America is suddenly fallen and destroyed. For howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed." Now when we get back in Revelation chapter 8 and read the first 4 trumpets, and then go in Revelation 16 and read the first 4 vials, we know that that third part of the earth that's being destroyed is America. You know why? Simply because Yahweh said, "I'm going to save the house of Judah first
Yes,
that
sir.
dwells in the daughter of Babylon."
That's right.
Well, how can you save us if you don't destroy this country?
That's right.
When we leave out of here, we know that no one is going to let us in the country, so he has to have a place prepared for. That's what we was reading about when we was reading about the wilderness and bringing us into the wilderness. The same, he told us, say the same way you left,
Mark
it's
well.
the same way you're going to come back.
That's right.
On ships. It said the ships, them long distance ships, is going to be the
Tarshish.
first one
Yes,
that's
sir.
going to be bringing my sons
sir.
and my daughters. Why? Because of America's destruction.
And even that, we know according to history, back in Eisenhower, Khrushchev told Eisenhower, took off his shoe at the UN and beat on the table and told Eisenhower, "We're going to destroy you." It was given
Give it to us by prophecy.
That's
And the
right.
prophecy is right in this book
That's
here.
right. He knew
See,
that.
the kings of the earth know.
We don't know it.
We don't know it because we go to them whorehouses.
That's right.
See,
That's right.
what we do is this. We don't study to show ourselves approved. See, we go for that word of mouth thing and what I think. See, what I think ain't got nothing to do with it. It has to do with what is written down.
That's
Let
right.
me read something to
Yes,
you here
sir.
out of Isaiah chapter 47.
Yes, sir.
I think that's where I want to go. Isaiah chapter 47. This is also talking about America. This is 47 and 1.
Okay.
"Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of America," right? Of Babylon, right? "O virgin daughter of Babylon." You notice she's never been invaded? You know why? Because we are here.
That's right.
"Sit on the ground. There's no throne, O daughter of the Aryans. For you shall no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstone and grind meal, uncover the locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Your nakedness shall be uncovered."
That's right.
What's her nakedness? Who she
Got it.
got over here as
Yeah,
her
slave.
slaves,
That's right.
God's chosen people.
That's right.
"Yea, your shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet you as a man." Okay, let me skip down to verse 6. "I was angry with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance, and given them into your hand. You did show them no mercy. Upon the ancient has you very heavily laid the yoke. And you said, I shall be a lady forever.
That's
so that you did not lay these things to your heart. Neither did you remember the latter end. Therefore hear now this, you that are given to pleasure, that dwells carelessly, that say in your heart, I am number one superpower.
That's right. That's right.
Number one superpower. I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come upon you in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon you in their perfection for the multitude of your sorceries and for the great abundance of your enchantment. So we can very well see that Yahweh has already prophesied what he's going to do against the nation.
Right.
Now, it don't make no difference whether you see it or not. See, Our fathers did not foresee
Right.
us being in this captivity. But he told Abraham we'd be here 400 years.
Right.
And he told him, say, afterwards. Now, a lot of brothers like to say, well, that was the Egyptian captivity.
right.
If you read the scripture, we stayed down there 430 years.
Yes, sir.
Yahweh does not make
Yes, sir.
30-year mistakes.
That's right.
If that was the case, when he told our brother Hezekiah he
Yeah,
was going to add 15 years to his day, to his day, he might have been talking about 3 minutes.
Right.
You see what I
It was
mean?
15 days to the
right.
record,
Yahweh has always been exact in the things that he had to say. And a lot of people don't understand these things because they don't see what America is doing to our people, what she has done to that our people. But see, that come from people not knowing who they are. See, when you get back and show you how our people are. When you get back when we was down in that hill of Iraq, now the Muslims had us in captivity then.
That's
didn't they?
right.
Now brothers walking around here talking about Assalamu alaikum.
Right.
You know why? They don't know it.
They don't know who they
Because they don't know who they are. They don't read history. They don't study history. See, basically what we go by is what we think,
Right.
what we feel, and we lean a lot to our understanding.
Right.
But what I have a tendency to do is this. I have a tendency to read this book.
That's right.
And I have a tendency to sit down and watch things come to pass. I remember back in 1981 when this beast first started, when Greece became the 10th member of the European Common Market. I said, she's on the road.
That's
now.
right. That's
I
right.
said, now we just got to wait till these nations here join, and let's see what's going to happen.
That's right.
Right? And Yahweh's word is being fulfilled.
That's right.
Everything he told the prophet, like Christ said, don't think I came to destroy the law of the prophets. I didn't come to destroy, but to fulfill. Well, he didn't fulfill this here. See, people are going there and say, well, see, he came to fulfill the law, so what you going to do about the prophets?
Right.
You see?
Right.
And people don't want to deal with the prophets because there's a lot of people that don't understand who the nations are on the earth. This is why they say, well, I don't believe this and I don't believe that. But if they get them a chart and put all the nations, go back in Genesis and put all the nations in place, read history and move them around like they were moved around, they'll find out America got to go.
That's right. And then they won't be running around here every Sunday talking about I'm a Gentile. too.
Right.
We're going to take this next call. Go ahead, caller. You on there?
Oh,
All right. Bring him up a little bit.
yes. The story of history of
Hold on 1 second, caller. Can you bring him up a little bit more in the studio?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. All right, keep helping. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, all nations took Africans from the west coast of Africa. Now I'm sitting here watching the two of you. And a lot of you.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Let's understand one thing right now. We're not ignorant. Over in Africa, you got the Falasha, the Bantu, the Lemba, the Ashanti,
That's right.
and all of those folks obey to Israel. Falasha means, in Swahili, Falasha means alien residents. Now, the Africans, they didn't sell their own people. They rounded up our people and sold our people to the European. The same people that General Titus, go back in 70 A.D., don't give me no junk. Go back in 70 A.D., and start at 70 A.D. and see where General Titus sold the Israelites at. He sold them to the Ethiopians to work in the salt mines, and we stayed down in Africa till the 1600s, and the Africans were the one that rounded us up and sold us to America, and we call ourselves African Americans.
That's right.
But ask yourself a question. How many of us you know that's married to an African woman in this country?
No, I am saying this, and history, the records will support me on this. All nations took Africans from the west coast of Africa.
After y'all rounded them up and marched them to the west coast, why you think they had the fort over there called Fort of Judah?
That's right. The Hebrews and
We're
the
not
Africans.
ignorant, brother, so don't
Well,
come
no,
in.
I'm not saying you're ignorant, but I want to assert myself here, according to the records. All nations took Africans from the west coast of Africa.
No, they didn't.
Took them to America.
No, they
took them
didn't.
to South America. Took
No,
them
they
to
didn't.
the Caribbean.
No, they didn't. They didn't take no Africans from America. If you read history about the transatlantic slave trade, anytime they found an African among the slaves, what they did was put them on the island of Haiti, and when they went back to pick up their next load of slaves, they took them Africans back to their country.
I agree with that. And that's not supported by any type of record.
Yes, it is.
About the tragedy of our people there.
Yes, it is.
We took them to America.
It's supported by the Bible. This is the record.
Right, right.
All right. What's been written is not supported by the Bible.
Why it's not?
But what I'm looking at are features, ethnicity, and nation.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Why is there so many wars going on in Africa and has been going on in Africa between the Falasha, the Bantu, the Tutsis and the Tutsis and all those other folks? If you even when you just look at those folks, you can see the difference. And what is the wars about? The wars is about destroying our people simply because we are the ones that's aliens. Why did they call our people Falasha?
Right.
I think that's beside the point I'm trying to make here. I'm trying to make a point that one of you said that we are not from Africa.
No, I said we are not Africans.
Oh, you could call yourself whatever you will. But records will support that even the pirates participated in causing this diaspora in this nation.
Yes, sir. Let me ask you a
We
question.
know all about that.
Let me ask you a question, brother. The diaspora was of the Jews. The diaspora was not the Africans. Are the Hebrews and the Africans the same people?
We have a play on semantics here. When I say Africa here, I'm talking about people who have been brought from the mainland.
Well, we were brought from the mainland, brother, but the way we was brought from the mainland is your people.
That's right.
Rounded up my people and sold my people to these Gentiles.
Right.
They didn't sell the Africans and so forth. As a matter of fact, I tell you, there's a movie came out a while ago called Roots, right? If you listen carefully to the conversation between Kunta Kinte and Fiddler,
Yeah.
Fiddler told Kunta Kinte, said, "You're a Mandinka warrior." He said, "These people over here, they don't know who they are."
That's right.
The other people was us.
And the Amistad movie, too.
Of course.
They took
And
them
what did they
Africans
do? They sent the Africans back to Africa, didn't
right.
they? And that's documented fact.
The Negroes are not Africans, sir.
We know we're
Negroes
not
are
Africans, brother.
They're not of the seed of Ham. They are the seed of Shem. So
Right.
that's where you need to study it.
All black people are not
Not
Africans,
Africans.
and all white people are not Gentiles.
That's right.
Oh, we are speaking of ethnicity here, right? We are not speaking of semantics. You are playing with semantics here. And I'm really trying to make a point here that all of our people with broad nose, big lips, black skin or brown skin
No.
were somehow connected with the Africans.
Who in the control room?
Semantics is not in Genesis 10, brother. All you got to do is study Genesis 10, and we're going to move on to the next cause. But do you study on it, man, you'll find out that the Negroes are not Africans.
They know it, man.
Right.
I don't know why they
we're
keep
not,
trying to
We're not the
perpetuate
same.
that
You know
lie.
we're not your people. Y'all don't treat us.
They don't even treat us like they are people, do
You
they?
don't say, brother. You ever heard an African king say, "Send me my people back"?
Of course not.
No, we're not African.
They was glad to get rid of us,
Right.
brother. They was glad to get rid of us.
Even the Zondervan Dictionary has a thing. We do it in our flyers, right? It has a pictorial in there that says Ham, the son of Ham, which is the progenitor of the African, so-called Africans. God
Not
called them
Negro.
not the Negroes.
Right,
They called the
right.
Egyptian, the Cush, and all them other Canaanites, but they're not Negroes. The
Right.
Negroes are not Africans, bro.
Right.
You got to do your research for
Right. And see, when you get back in the Old Testament, the Shunammite girl told you she was
Right,
black in the
yep.
Songs of Solomon, right?
That's right.
She wasn't no African.
That's
she
right.
was Hebrew.
That's right.
Jeremiah told you he was black. Job told you he was black, but they weren't Hebrews.
That's
I
right.
mean, they weren't Africans. They were Hebrews.
They weren't Hamites.
And well, this is my question. If we're the Africans,
Then who are the Hebrews?
where the Hebrews
That's right.
enslaved us for 400 years?
He think they're over there in Israel, probably over there in Jerusalem, but we know they're imposters. We got this next phone call. Come on, caller. You on there?
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah, would you read chapter 11 of Revelation? Would that be part of American situation too? The two
Revelation.
prophets the two prophets?
Revelations 11.
Revelation chapter 11.
What about America in Revelation 11?
I say Revelation chapter 11, speaking of two prophets that nobody is going to believe in practically.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think about that? Is that that's an American thing right there?
No, it's not.
So where are these two prophets coming? Where are they coming to?
Those two prophets is the two prophets that has always been on the walls in Jerusalem. These are two angels that has manifested human bodies. This is why it said they're going to be killed, and after 3 days, life is going to come up in them, and they're going to say, "Come up hither." Okay, come up hither. Why? Because now Yahweh's destruction is getting ready to come upon the earth, and that's what the rest of Revelations 11 is about. As a matter of fact, it goes into in verse 15 when it picks up the seventh trumpet. At this time, America was already destroyed. America was destroyed back in the first, second, and third, and fourth trumpet, in the first, second, third, and fourth vial. So she's already gone.
Right, yeah, to get us up out of here.
Right, so America, it's not talking about America in Revelations 11, my brother. It talks about the destruction of Revelations, and you can pick that up in Revelations 8. And verse 7 through verse 13. And then you go in Revelations 16 and pick that up at Revelation 16, verse 1 through verse 8. That is the destruction of America there.
All right, well, let me take this time to invite you brothers out. You know, if you want to learn some things and get some information that's pertinent to your salvation, you might want to come out and study with us. We're at the Culture Center of NCCI. That's 3901A Covington Highway. Just by, if you need a reference, it's by the Georgia Department of Labor, right at Redan Road and Covington Highway. So come on out and bring your questions out there. We have a little bit more time to show you in the scriptures according to what's written and not what we feel and what we think, just who this so-called Negro is. And we know for sure he's not an
You know
African.
what? We're the only people on the face of the earth that's called by proverbs and by verbs.
That's right.
Yahweh said, I'm going to cause your holy name to cease from among men, and you're not going to be reckoned among the nations. We the only people on the earth who haven't got a name that ties us to a land, and we are not reckoned among the nations.
That's right. Yes, sir. He told us that in Deuteronomy and Psalms 83, I believe.
You're right. Everybody know who the Africans are. The Africans got a country.
Right.
Well, they don't control most of it, but they got a country. Right? We the only people on the earth that's people without a country. See, that's why them Africans keep their women away from us. How many brothers you know date an African woman?
Not at all. No.
Okay.
They don't. I mean, the Ethiopians and stuff. They don't want us near their women.
Of course they don't, bro.
So,
but yet and still they come to me and say, "You my brother."
Right.
Well, if I'm your brother, why did you deal with my woman? But you tell your woman that she deal with us. Then we gonna send you back home. Why?
Might try to kill them.
Right.
Right.
Well, y'all been over here and y'all been domesticated by these folks over here. They've been domesticated in Africa a long time. Who control all the gold mines and everything? You know what I mean? So.
But the prophecies don't bear that out. We know that the Hebrews were dark-skinned people. That's how they was able to go into Egypt and everything and blend in. You know, the Messiah blend in, Moses blend in, Joseph. He was also Hebrew, you know, so people need to get their facts straight, and that's something you might want to do before you call up in here, because the other, you don't take no junk. But anyway, Elder, we got a couple of minutes before our commentary, so we won't want to get too much into anything. But if you could expound on, I had a question earlier about those kings of the north and the south, just who they were, and we got about a minute or two.
Well, the kings of the, let's put it in a religious aspect of it. You got to understand who is getting ready to rule the earth, the EU. So the EU will have the power. They're the kings of the north. Okay? The kings of the south is the people in the Middle East. You see? Now, we know it's not Africa.
Right.
Because the Africans ain't got no power.
That's right.
You see? The Arabs is the one.
That's right.
They got the power and so forth in the Middle East. So the last war, it's really going to be a holy war. It's going to be a war between the Christians and the Muslims. You know why? they consider the Muslims to be the Antichrist.
Antichrist.
See, all of our people think one person is the Antichrist.
Right.
But Paul said, you've heard that Antichrist is going to come. But I tell you, even weeping today, that there are many Antichrists. Well, the Muslims is the one that don't believe that Yahshua is the Son of God.
You're going to end up with the Antichrist fighting the Antichrist.
Right, ain't that so?
Satan trying to cast out Satan. Anyway, we're going to, I think we're going to count down to this commentary. How many minutes we got, brother? Seconds. All right. Anyway. Okay. Anyway, Elder, we just thank you once again. Hold on. Okay. Okay. They give me some bad cues here. They give me some bad cues. But anyway, we take this opportunity once again to thank you. Oh, here we go.
What is truth? Truth is having faith in things not seen. Truth is Yah's holy word. What is truth? Truth is that if you are a so-called Negro in America, you are a Hebrew Israelite. Shalom, this is your brother Rick ben Israel bringing you tonight's commentary for As It Is Written. Peace in the Middle East. Will this ever occur? Truth is that peace in the Middle East will occur, but not by the spreading of democracy as believed by many Americans. Yet peace in the Middle East will occur only after the prophecies which have been prophesied to take place before the millennial kingdom have been fulfilled. And the true people of Yah, the Hebrew Israelites, are brought back to our land from the four corners of the earth, back to the land given to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov, a land which spans from the river Nile to the great river Euphrates. But what does truth, or Yah's holy word, says concerning to these things? Ho, ho, come forth, and flee from the land of the north, says Yahweh. For I have spread you as the four winds of heaven, says Yahweh. Deliver yourself, O Yehuda, that dwell in the daughter of Babylon. For thus says Yahweh of hosts, after the glory has he sent unto the nations which spoil you, for he that touches you touch the apple of my eye. Zechariah chapter 2, verses 6 through 8. The children of Israel, namely the house of Yehuda, have been in captivity in the America as prophesied for close to 400 years, reference Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. And after Yahweh delivers Yehuda from America, Yahweh will do the same thing to us that he did to our forefathers when he led them out of the land of Egypt, a second exodus in the wilderness. Moreover, something that has never happened to the so-called Jews who inhabit the land of Israel now. For there is nothing new under the sun, reference Ezekiel chapter 20, verses 34 through 38. For Yah is truth and man is a lie, reference Hosea chapter 2, verses 14 through 15. But let's continue with the story. While Yehuda is taken to the wilderness to be nurtured for 3.5 years, the destruction of America will occur, reference Isaiah chapter 13, verses 17 through 19, and Isaiah chapter 47, verses 3 and 6. And believe it or not, the great tribulation will be in full effect, reference Isaiah chapter 13, verses 11 through 13, and Matthew 24, verses 6 through 8, which reads, And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famine and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these things are the beginning of sorrows. Then there is the abomination of desolation by the Pope. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months or 3.5 years. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Yahweh, and blasphemed his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. Revelation chapter 13, verses 4 through 6, will lead us to the opening of the sixth seal, Satan being cast out of heaven, reference Revelation chapter 6, verses 12 through 17. Then glory and honor to the Jew first, with the sealing of the servants of Yahweh, reference Revelation chapter 7, verses 3 through 4. The opening of the seventh seal, reference Revelation chapter 8, verses 1 through 6, followed by the blowing of the first trumpet, 1/3 of the trees and the grass being destroyed. Reference Revelation chapter 15, verses 1 through 7. 1 through 2, followed by the first vial of wrath, swords on man, reference Revelations 16, verses 1 through 2. Then the blowing of the second trumpet, when salt water is turned into blood, and the third part of the life dies in the water. Reference Revelation chapter 8, verses 8 through 9. Then the second vial, water turns to blood, and all life in the water dies. Revelation chapter 16, verse 3. Then the third trumpet, the death of men who drank water. Revelation chapter 8, verses 10 through 11. Then the third vial, fresh waters become blood for recompense of the children of Israel. Revelation chapter 16, verses 4 through 7. For Yahweh says in Isaiah 42, verses 14, for I have a long time held my peace, and I have been still and refrained myself. Now I will cry like a travailing woman. I will destroy and devour at once. Then there is the blowing of the fourth trumpet, darkness, Revelation chapter 8, verses 12 through 13. The fourth vial, men scorched by the sun, Revelation chapter 16, verses 8 and 9. The fifth trumpet, locusts to torment men, Revelation chapter 9, verses 1 through 12. The fifth vial, utter darkness, Revelation chapter 16, 10 through 11. The destruction of Rome, the Vatican City, Revelation chapter 17. The blowing of the sixth trumpet, the 2 million Asian army killed for coming against Jerusalem, Revelation chapter 9, verses 13 through 21. The sixth vial, the 2 million men army destroyed, Revelation chapter 16, verse 12. The seventh vial, earthquakes and great hail, Revelation chapter 16, 17 through 21. And the blowing of the seventh trumpet, Revelation chapter 11, verse 15 through 18, which bring us all the way to the coming of the Messiah, Revelation chapter 19, verses 1 through 11, who will come and finish the battle of Armageddon, set up his righteous kingdom and governmental structure ran by Hebrew Israelites out of the holy city of Jerusalem. Then there will be peace in the Middle East and throughout all the earth 4,000 years, even forevermore. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. This has been your brother Rick Ben Israel for the commentary. Amen and hallelujah.
All right, we're back. Had that commentary there for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me once again invite you out to the Culture Center of NCCI. We are a Hebrew Israelite assembly believing in the Holy One Yahshua and Yisrael. And we're an advanced information team. All we do is research and put out facts so that it won't be any conjecture and talking about what we think, feel, or anything like that. But anyway, Elder, we got about 7 to 8 minutes, and we're going to try to hold this line and talk about a couple other things pertaining to these end-time events that's going to happen. The Messiah, when he left, he gave us an admonishment to watch and pray, and just what should we be watching for according to what's written and what's going to happen to the land over in Israel?
Well, what we should be watching for is the coming together of the prophecies that was written by John the Revelator in Revelation 13 and Revelation 17, the formation of the New World Order, the old revived Holy Roman Empire that fell in 476 A.D. Long fell, they divided it among everybody but us. Everybody but us got a piece of the pie. Right? Then they put us in slavery. Right, to make sure that we didn't get a piece of the pie. Then in 1948, now when I read the Old Testament, each time that Yahweh brought a nation of people upon us, then the Babylonian Empire, the Medo-Persian, the Greek, and the Roman Empire, when he brought a nation of people upon us, what did a lot of our people do? They went down into Egypt and hid themselves among the Ethiopians.
That's right.
Okay? They went down and hid among the Ethiopians, right? Now, that showed for how could the people over in Israel now hide down any place down in Ethiopia among the Ethiopian people. And when you look at us and look at the Ethiopians, you can see that we do resemble these people.
Especially color.
But I tell you what you do, if you get in a conversation about anybody from Ethiopia, talk about the Palasha.
They'll tell you.
Then they will admit, once they find out you know what the deal is,
Right.
they will admit
That's right.
that the Palasha are not African. And
That's
to
right.
show you that, see, back in 1991, 95, when the war broke out in Mogadishu, Ethiopia, right? They start secretly airlifting black Jews out of
Right.
Ethiopia,
Right.
putting them in Israel.
That's right. By night.
Right?
Right.
If all the black folks in Africa was African, why did they take them and put them
Those
in
people.
Israel?
Right, right.
And know what they said?
Right.
These are the Jews
Right.
that was put out of Israel.
That's right. That's right.
You see?
That's right.
But we aren't supposed to know these things, see, simply because this is why we heap Christian teachers to ourselves that kept telling us, oh, it doesn't make any difference.
Difference, yeah.
Well, Christ was king of the Jews. Paul said, glory and honor to the Jew first. The prophet Zechariah said, when the master set up his kingdom, all the nations going to grab onto the coattail of him that is a Jew saying, we
Right.
will go with you because we've heard that Yahweh is with you. Right? Well, the Jews were black and everybody know it. See? Even these Gentiles over here, a lot of these Gentiles know who we are.
Right.
But nobody tell you nothing unless they find out that you've
Right.
got some sense as far as history is concerned.
Right, right. Yeah, well, we have to, lost the train of thought there, but anyway, I want to show this brother something before it slips in my mind. And also, too, we got about 5 more minutes left, so if you'd like to call in and get another stab at a question you need answered.
Why don't you let me read this here?
Yeah, I can show it to him, too, but
This,
check
which
this out,
camera's
brother, if
right?
you're still watching.
Can you catch that, brother?
Yeah, we want to zoom in on that now. That
Can you
ain't
catch that?
that ain't us talking.
We didn't put this out.
Right.
Can you zoom in on that?
That's it.
It says, this comes from the Zodavan Pictorial Bible Dictionary,
That's
right?
right, that's
Okay,
right.
it says ham, perhaps hot, the youngest son of Noah,
That's right.
born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes.
That's right. Read on. It takes
See?
the Libyans.
Everybody know it but
Canaanites.
us.
Right. Right.
Everybody know it but us. It say, but Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, Canaanites, and then it gives Genesis 10, verse 6 to 20, see,
Right.
20, and tell you who those nations are
That's
today.
right.
And all you need is a biblical dictionary to bring all those names back up. But the thing of it is this. Them Gentiles know, them historians know,
Right.
that the Negro is not an
Right.
African.
Right.
But see,
Right.
folks gonna tell us, well, you know, you my brother.
Right.
No, I ain't your brother. I ain't no kin to you. Your folks sold my folks
Right.
into slavery, and you gonna tell me I'm your brother?
Right.
It
Right.
don't work like that.
Right. So that's what you need to do, brother. Do your research, do the necessary research, man. Come down to the Culture Center. We got all the information you need, and you can use these pictorials and this information, these flyers to help you in your studies and stuff.
That's all they have to do.
Right.
We invite people
Yes,
every
sir.
week, every
Come
show
down
we
and
do.
prove it.
We invite people. If you got some stuff, bring it down to the Culture Center. But you know what? They hide behind their telephone.
Right.
You
Right.
see, but they won't come down to the Culture Center
That's
and bring
right.
this stuff.
We don't bite. We make the word easily entreated. We don't jump on you. We don't crowd around you, anything like that. We just ask you to pick up the information and go back home in your private time to do your personal studies. You can prove these things to yourself, man. That's what we got to do is prove all things. We got about 1 minute here, about 2 minutes, but anyway, we thank you once again for being with us. We want to invite you also once again out to the Culture Center and get the necessary information you need to prove these things. You remember this story. This brother came to the camp. Now, check this out, caller, because this brother, we have this story kind of comes along quite a bit. This brother came to our assembly, and his grandmother had told him all his life, right? Don't forget, baby, don't forget you're Hebrew, right? But she couldn't tell him much more about it, just told him don't forget you're Hebrew. This brother grew up to become a kickboxer, right? Traveled the world, right? Went over to the Philippines, and this Philippine woman ran up to him and said, "What's wrong with you people? What's wrong with you people? Why can't you get it together? You're the Holy Seed. We're waiting on you, right?
Right.
Everybody else know but us, right?
Right, brother. I had a white lady come up to me
Right.
in a public supermarket. Say, you the man to be on TV, ain't you? She say, When y'all gonna get y'allself together?
Yeah,
We
that's
waiting
right.
for y'all,
That's
right?
right.
Everybody is waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God.
That's right.
You see, that's what everybody's waiting. The people that's in the know, our people, they just go to church just to be
Right.
going to church because
Jump up
traditional.
and down.
Don't know nothing. You see, that's why you think they pay tithes.
Right.
They say we're not under the law, we're under grace, but they go back in Exodus and put 10% tithes
And
out
that's
of
the
there.
only thing they get out of the Old
Of
Testament.
course.
Everything
But
else
when I
done
was
away
coming
with.
up, and these old folks know it, and I blame the old folks for going along with that mess in church, see? The old folks know that the church used to didn't tithe. Tithing is a new thing in church.
Right.
Well, when you look at their religion, it evolves.
Right.
At
Right.
one time, we couldn't go to church with them.
That's right.
Then they found out we didn't know nothing.
Right.
Man, they threw all kind of preachers
Right.
at us. All
Right.
kind of pimps.
Even so, they had them Gentiles in the back of the church. They made sure they taught what they wanted
Of
them to
course they
teach in
did.
the slavery days.
Of course they did.
But anyway, man, we're coming up on the end of the show. I see they rolling the credits. We'd like to thank you once again for joining us. And come on out to the Culture Center and get the necessary information, the teaching. We keep the Sabbath day, the holy days, the new moons, everything that is commanded by the Most High God. Keep hope alive. Yahshua is on the way, and he won't be a Gentile. He'll be a black Hebrew Israelite Jew. You can bet on that. Anyway, he's going to look just like you. You know, but anyway, we'll catch you next time. Thanks a lot for being with us today, and may Yah bless and keep you.